come, you're only going to make things worse for everyone.
No. She chose to come. I didn't make the rules between you two.
You're fighting to change things.
For those who come after. Right?
Thought I was used to losing people.
Yeah, me too.
Take everything.
Is this true?
Miles with him.
We need to go. Now.
Who are you?
I know it seems absurd to offer oblivion as recompense, but
She'll never paint again.
PlayStation.
I think I can officially say with confidence that Expedition 33 is my current game of the year. I didn't just beat Expedition 33. I beat the game about a day or two ago, and just reflecting on my journey with the game, me playing through the whole entire game, me experiencing the game, I would have to say that this is my game of the year currently right now. There is no other game that has made me feel this much like passion and enthusiasm for like video games this year. Like this game, and we're only like we're in June, so we're kind of like almost like halfway through 2025, but this game is so good. Like I just remember when I first started playing the game, and when I first started playing Expedition 33, I thought it was a good game. I thought it was like even a great game at some moments, and I just remember people talking about how like this is one of the best games ever made, and how this is like the best game of the year, and I was like, okay, I do think this game is good, but I wasn't like necessarily saying at that point, you know, this wasn't my game of the year yet. And just playing through the game, getting to the end, especially the end of the game, there are definitely moments in this game that had me freaking hyped, freaking passionate. Like, just there were so many like cool and exciting moments in bro. Don't even get me started on the music for this game. The music for this game.
Clair-obscur, troublera-tu, trouveras effet. Clair-obscur, noir et haut, peinture, trouveras sans elle. Alina souffrira.
footsteps leave no trace. A man whose voice sounds like tears.
It's something else entirely. I don't think I've ever been like this. Like, I don't think there's ever been like a video game soundtrack that has ever made me like this. Like wow, this is a really good video game soundtrack. Like maybe since like Final Fantasy VII Remake with that soundtrack and everything, and the Final Fantasy VII music and everything. This soundtrack, especially like some of the main bosses that you fight in the game, and the music that they have for like some of the bosses in this game are so good. The freaking I know like most, or like all the music is like French based like style of music, but like bro, there is so many like hype songs. There's so many like soothing melodies. There's like such a like a like and I've heard someone like say this say this before, that they've never heard like a soundtrack like this before in video games, and I have to agree with them, because I don't think I've ever heard like a soundtrack like this before. I mean, like a French based like video game soundtrack. I don't think I've ever heard, or like, you know, of some, or heard of that before. In this game, the soundtrack is amazing. The story is amazing. The story is so good. The characters are so well written. The freaking art style is so cool and everything. The gameplay is super fun. I love the whole parrying and dodging mechanic that they introduced in this game. And I gotta say, when it comes to like turn-based games, and I haven't played like a lot of them, because I've played Persona 3, Metaphor, and now this game, and I would have to say, out of those 3 games, this game, when it comes to like the combat, is probably my favorite turn-based style combat. Just like with the parrying and the dodging and the different abilities that you are able to pull off. It's just so satisfying, honestly. And the variety of bosses that you fight, and the different types of bosses that you fight are so good too. Yeah, man. This game is amazing. The soundtrack is amazing. The freaking gameplay is super fun. The characters are well written, you know, from Verso to Mael to Lune to Ciel to freaking Gustav. I know. Well, I'm gonna be talking about spoilers in this game, so I will like the whole entire game. I'm going to be like spoiling in this video. So if you haven't played Expedition 33, I'm telling you, bro, play Expedition 33. It's an amazing game. It's one of my favorite games of this year. Go play it. But freaking Gustav, I know Gustav, he dies in chapter 1, and that like actually, when I first actually saw the ending of chapter 1 and when they actually killed off Gustav, I was actually surprised, because, you know, from the beginning, he's kind of made out to seem like the main character, I guess. But he dies at the end of chapter 1, and it's so crazy how, like, even though like I hadn't spent that much time with that character, they were still able to make me feel like sad in that moment for that character, even though I hadn't spent the entire game with that character. And that's just a testament to like the writing in this game, like I said, the storytelling, the interactions between the characters are super cool. And then we get to, obviously after Gustav dies, we get introduced to Verso, and his character is super interesting, and super sad at the same time. This game is like, this game is low-key kind of sad. The way that it ends, just like the idea of because the world that they have in the game is like completely made up, and it's like supposed to be like like all the freaking characters and all of the world of Expedition 33 is basically just a painting, like someone's painting of their ideas and stuff like that come basically to life in a certain way. And that also threw me for a loop. I did not see that coming. The freaking chapter 2 ending for like when you beat the Paintress, and it seems like, you know, the game is ending and everything. And then you get back to Lumiere, and everyone literally just gomages, and like everyone dies, and like you're just left like super confused and like what the freak just happened. I feel like this game does that a lot. Like, I feel like each chapter, like the first chapter, it was Gustav dying that surprised me. And then the second chapter was like, you know, everyone dying after you beat the Paintress. And then chapter 3 literally has you pick between either Mael or Verso, basically. Like, at the ending of the game, basically, literally throughout the whole entire game, you're trying to get to the Paintress and defeat the Paintress, because at that moment you believe that like the Paintress is the one that's like causing people to basically die at like a certain age and stuff like that. And so when you get to the Paintress and you finally beat the Paintress, you realize that killing her or like ending her literally did nothing, and like everyone was still gonna die regardless. And then you realize that the whole thing is like not real, and that it's actually, well, Mael is technically, I guess, a version of, and I don't remember, I think it's Alicia or Eileen. I think Eileen is the sister, and then Alicia is like the real world version of Mael. And you realize that basically the freaking Paintress and the freaking I can't remember, the freaking Renoir, the guy that's like, you know, following you around the whole entire game, they're basically like a family. Like Alicia, Renoir, the freaking Paintress lady, and also Verso ends up being a member of the family, but the Verso in like in the painting is not the real Verso. It's like a fake version of Verso. And so that whole entire family is like making like paintings, and like it's like this whole thing like that they're going to war with like different writers and stuff like that. That was interesting. They didn't really dive deep into necessarily that, but that was interesting. But you find out that Verso, or the real life Verso, which apparently he died in a fire or something like that. I guess a part of his soul is still painting, or like a part of Verso's soul is painting basically the world that we explore and that we play in the game and stuff like that. And so when you get to the end of the game and you have to confront Renoir again, or I guess the dad, or you got to confront the dad. When you beat the dad, it's, you think, okay, that's the end of the game. We beat the dad. Everything's gonna go back to normal. Mael or Alicia is gonna be able to live her life in the painting, because she wants to stay in the painting with everyone else, because that's where she feels like she belongs. Because in the real world, she's freaking like burnt and she can't talk and she has like one eye, I think. And so literally at the end of the game you beat Renoir and you end up having to choose between Verso or Mael, because Verso sees like a version of himself still painting. And what really made me pick Verso in that moment was basically when the painting or like the fake version of Verso is talking to like this I guess like the last piece of like Verso's soul, and it's like in the form of like this child or something, and like he asks or the painting of Verso asks the other Verso, hey, are you tired? Or like, you look tired, or he says something to the degree of like, hey, are you tired? And in that moment, like their other Verso like looks up towards him, and like he nods yes.
You're tired of painting, aren't you? I'm tired too.
Basically. And it was that moment. It was in that moment that like I knew I had to pick Verso in that moment. Because in my opinion, and I know a lot of people, you know, chose Mael and stuff like that. In my opinion, yes, like obviously you go through this journey with all these characters. You go, you know, with Lune and Ciel and Gustave and like Esquier and like Monoko and everyone, and you build a relationship with these characters, and you know, and you know, you're playing with them for hours and hours on end, and like you're invested in their story and like their characters and everything like that. But you know, you realize that none of that is real, and Mael is kind of, it's sad because Mael, obviously she doesn't want to go back to the real world because she feels like she has no place in the real world, and she feels like she's, you know, useless there. But I personally think that like in order for like the family for them to like move on and stuff like that, I just personally thought that Mael living in this fantasy world, yeah, it would have been nice, but like at the end of the day, I feel like the most important thing for the family was for them to grieve and move on, because literally when because it's so interesting, because like after I beat Renoir and like you get through like the ending of the game, you really start to think like the whole entire time, were we doing the right thing? Were we like, because you know, because you have the dad, and like the dad's whole thing is like, hey, you know, we got to go back to the real world, or hey, Mael, you got to go back to the real world, like, because none of this is real, and we got to process our grief, and you know, because you know, basically he just wants what's like best for his child. And I guess like the way that we see it is that like, you know, Renoir is basically trying to destroy this whole world and stuff like that, but he's really just trying to get his family to like process and grieve the passing of Verso. And so it really gets you to think about like your actions, and like were we in the wrong, like as like you know, and was the dad or Renoir, was he in the right, I guess, in a certain sort of way. So it gets you to think about that. But like I ended up picking Verso, and in that moment I didn't really know if I was doing the right thing, and I wasn't really sure if I had chose the right ending. And not necessarily to say that Verso's ending is necessarily the right ending, because Verso's ending is still sad. Don't get me wrong. But I would say, because after I, you know, go through Verso's ending. And Verso's ending is sad, and it's even sadder when you like you see the different characters and they're saying goodbye, and then you see freaking you have Gustav and you have Minoko and you have SK, and they're all hugging and like they're all like gumaging and they're all like freaking vanishing like freaking like they're getting Thanos snapped. And then you see CL, and she's like sad, but she's like kind of just accepting that this is just how the way it is, and she's, I guess, in that moment made some sort of peace, I guess. But like when you get to Lune, like literally Lune is like literally just staring you down and just looks so like, why'd you do this? Why'd you do this to us? And so it was in that moment where I was like, okay, did I make the right decision or not? And when I was done with the game, I obviously looked up Mael's ending because I wanted to know the other outcome. And just seeing that version of that ending and what happens, like literally when you pick Mael, you basically kill the painting version of Verso. And when you kill the painting version of Verso, he's literally like pleading like for Mael to like, I don't want this life. I literally do not want this life. I do not want a part of my soul to be painting for eternity and like for and like forever. And it's like literally like I literally do not want to do this anymore. Mael. And obviously everyone comes back. You see Gustav again. You see everyone together, and it is supposedly, it looks like from the outside, it looks all like happy and like everyone's together and stuff like that. But then you get towards like the end of that section, and you see that Verso is still alive. Like the painting version of Verso is still alive, and literally they're in this like theater type area, and basically Verso like walks out, and it's all in like black and white too. This part. Verso basically walks out. He like sits down at this piano. He like looks at Mael, and there's literally a shot of it. Literally cuts to Mael's face, and she's just got like this, like, I don't even know what it is. It's like this weird stuff on her skin, and I don't know if this is like, I don't know, because it kind of looked like one of her eyes were missing too. And like it just like hard cuts to Mael in like a very like creepy and like weird way. Like it gives the impression that this is like a happy ending, but it all feels off. And so like basically you have Verso like he's basically has to live this life that Mael has like given him, like even though he doesn't want to anymore. And so when I saw that, I was like, okay, yeah, I think I chose the right ending. Like I think I chose the better ending in my opinion. And the ending for Verso is like, obviously you beat Mael. The painting version of Mael goes back to the living world, and like the family has like a funeral for Verso, and at the end of the game there's like a shot when Mael she's looking at the grave, and past the grave is just like kind of like Force Ghost in like a sense. Like there's just like everyone that you met during the story, obviously Gustav, Ciel, Lune, SKA, and Monoko, everyone is just waving goodbye, and then they all just leave. Or they like, you know, fade away basically. And I thought that ending was, even though it was sad, I thought it was the more like I thought it was the more good ending, if you want to call it that, even though I guess like each ending is kind of like sad in its own way. But yeah, man, in terms of the story, I really enjoy the story. Gameplay, I really enjoy the gameplay. The music, the soundtrack in this game is so great. If I was to give this game a score, I would probably give it like a 9 or a 10 out of 10. Yeah, I would probably give it like a 10 or a 10 or a 9. This game is amazing. Go out and play Expedition 33. Support this game. Buy it. Enjoy it. Even if turn-based games aren't your thing, like at least give this one a chance, because I really do think that you'll enjoy it. And yeah, man, that's all I have to say about Expedition 33. Leave down in the comment section below your thoughts and opinions on the game yourself. If you enjoyed it, if you didn't enjoy it, leave all your thoughts down below. And yeah, man, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here, and I will see you guys on the next one. So yeah, bye.